Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Model Railroad. Got some great stuff for you guys to take a look at this month. We'll start right here. Actually, we'll talk about fascias for a second. I'm getting ready to paint the room, and I want to do a technique where I paint the lower half of the room the same color as the fascia, the front part of my Model Railroad. It's just to help kind of blend the layout into the room itself. And choosing a color was kind of a big deal for me. I wanted to go with something a little different, something a little modern. I've seen a lot of people use kind of a hunter green color in the past. I've seen a lot of people use black as well. I used black on this switching layout that I had created previously. Wanted something a little bit different. So I went through like 50 different shades of color. I went through a ton of different colors. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see a lot of more of my thought process going through those colors. And I also talk about it on my blog, so check out my blog as well. So I went with Rugged Suede. Rugged Suede is kind of a gray. It's got some brown in it. You can take a look at it against the black there. It actually matches a lot of the scenery in my switching layout here really nicely, which is good because a lot of these same scenery techniques will be making their way over to the full size layout. I wanted to go with a little bit of a lighter color, just to keep it from feeling too dark and oppressive, but a color that didn't like stand out and draw attention to itself. I think this is a really good choice. One other thing I'm going to do this time around is I'm not going to paint the fascia a flat color. This was painted flat black, and if you can see here, and I'll do a close-up so you can see, there's just tons of fingerprints all over the place. It gathers fingerprints like crazy, and hard to get rid of. So I'm going to go with probably a satin, something that's a little bit shinier, just so it doesn't attract so many fingerprints. And if it does, they're easy. You can just wipe them off, and it's easy to remove. So, pro tip from not a pro. Let's see. Along with the little bit of work I've done to this room this month, I have also done a lot of operating on other people's layouts, which is fantastic. It's a brand new thing for me. I've only done it a couple times before, and so it's really cool to see how other people are approaching the hobby and learn a lot about operation from them. First layout was by a gentleman here in Dunlap, same town I live in, who's got a really awesome big double deck layout, point to point. I got to run road trains from one end of the layout to the other. I got to work a really complex switching job that bogged everyone else on the railroad down. Sorry guys. But I had a lot of fun with that layout. It's really a great layout. The second layout was a new layout for me. It's built by a master model railroader. He just moved into a brand new house. This is a brand new layout. I mean, look at this thing. I can't believe it's only a couple months old and it's completely operational. He's got everything, all the track laid. It's fantastic. His old layout, the old version of this layout, is actually going to be in the June issue of Model Railroader magazine. So look for that. I'm sure I'll make a mention of it as soon as it comes out. Really fantastic layout. And operating with these guys again for a second time within a month is really kind of fun. I feel like I'm starting to kind of get to know everyone a little bit and feel like I'm a little bit of a part of a community, which is a brand new thing for me. I've never really had sort of a community around model railroading. I remember as a kid reading these model railroad magazines about people kind of getting together to run big operating sessions together and thought that was really fantastic, but I don't know anybody like this other than me. I'm finding these people here and having a great time with it. It's also really motivating me to get my layout finished so I can get some of these guys to come over here and operate on my layout. So anyways, that's that. Let's take a look at what I've done on the room this month. Haven't done a ton, I will warn you. Most of what I've done here has been just organizing all my old hobbies and kind of getting them out of the room. So a lot of it was me kind of playing with my old toys, honestly. But everything's kind of out of the space and stored away, and now basically everything that's left in here is model railroad related. So it's going to help me focus and get going on building this layout. Let's take a look at that now. Alright, I've gone handheld for the moment because my laser level is using my tripod, but I wanted to show you how I'm finding the layout height in my room. I've decided that I wanted my layout to be at about 50 inches. And if we can see, compared to the old module, it's just a little below that. The module is a little bit taller than 50 inches. I felt it was slightly too tall, so we're going to go a little bit lower this time around. And if I measure it with a tape measure, I'm right at just about 50 inches here. Now, if I come to a different spot in the room, we're going to find that, I'm a little below 50 here. Let's go over here by the door. I'm about 49.5 there. My floor is not level. So that's where having this laser level comes in real handy. Let me set my tape measure down here for a second. So that I can make sure that the layout itself is level even if the floor is not. And I want to make sure also that I'm not going above 50 inches in the area that's going to be kind of the deepest layout, this area right in here. I don't want to be any higher than 50 inches because reaching towards the back to uncouple cars and everything, I don't want it to be too much of a pain. So as long as I make sure that I'm at 50 inches right in this spot in the room where I'm going to have the most sort of concentrated track work furthest away from my reach, everything else should turn out okay. One thing I did do, and you have to make sure that you do this, is if you're going to measure all around a complete room like this in a big 360, you're going to want to make sure that you mark out where your laser level is and measure from that same spot every time. Because what happens is, and you can see I've marked it out with masking tape, and what would happen is if I didn't do that, if I were to say take it over here and then mark out the rest of the room this direction, well, this floor is probably close to a half an inch higher at this point than it is over there, and so my track won't be level on that side of the layout, which I don't want. I want to be able to park cars anywhere on the layout and not have to worry about them rolling away down a very slight hill. So I want to make sure that track is as level as possible all the way around the room. And so marking out a spot for your laser level and making sure you're measuring from that spot every single time will prevent that from happening. Well, this is it. This is my storage solution for what I'm going to do inside this closet here. It's a small closet, there's not a lot of space, but I got to get a lot of stuff out of that room and into here. And I'm building these shelving up and down this wall here in order to provide some space for all of my Lego bins. So hopefully it'll be crowded in here, but I'll be able to get everything I need in here. You can see here I've cut holes in this wall here, leaving the studs in place. This is actually how I'm going to be able to access the staging tracks from the back side of the layout. Usk, Washington, the area on my layout is going to be right on the other side of here, and then there'll be some staging track that kind of runs back here behind the backdrop and curve around through the door and off that direction. And so I need a way to access that staging track, and that'll be through the closet here. I can just kind of reach in here and grab any derailed cars that way. There's still an area that direction that is not going to be accessible from the closet, so we'll have to find a different way of getting a hold of cars that might be stuck in staging from that direction. But I think that this will allow for any mishaps that may occur to hopefully be easily remedied, at least on this portion of the layout. So I've taken this module out of the main room and I'm about ready to tear it down and throw it away, but I want to save some of the work that I did on here, namely this landscape. The landscape turned out really well. I really liked a lot of this, and I think I can use again some of this on my new layout. So I'm going to try to remove these grass mats that I've laid out here from this module. Now I laid them down using a 50-50 mix of white glue and water. So hopefully just by re-wetting it again I can loosen that up and be able to pull it off. we'll find out today. So what I've created is what's called wet water. Essentially, it's just water with a drop or 2 drops, very, very little amount of dishwasher detergent, liquid soap, like dishwasher soap. So we're going to spray this down, get it nice and wet, let it soak in. That dishwashing soap just basically breaks down the molecules of water. Just takes the surface tension away, so it can really soak it in even more than it normally would. Let it sit for a little bit. Come back here and see if we can lift off this mat of grass in hopefully as few pieces as possible. We'll find out. This is kind of a test. All right. Spray this down really good, just soak it in there.
Two hours later.
Soak that stuff over there really good. I don't know if it'll work.
Many hours later.
Just keep soaking, just keep soaking, just keep soaking, 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 soak. When you soak. I'm cutting all this out.
Many unbearable hours later.
Okay, so it's soaked. I let it soak for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to try to just take this knife and kind of lift up a piece of it and see what happens. In fact, let me take this blade out of this knife just to make it a little bit easier on myself. See if I can't just get underneath here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now these were silicone strips. Some of them were different sizes, so I was hoping that it would all come up in one big thing, but it may not. And it doesn't look like it wants to come up in one big thing, but it is going to come up. Oh, look at that. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Yeah, this is more like it. This is what I'm like. Oh, yeah. Yes. This is what I wanted. Something like that. Yeah. It's like peeling skin off. All right, can you see that? That is what I was looking to do. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with the rest of this and see how much of this grass I can actually get off and save. Awesome. I'm really happy about that. We had fun this month, didn't we, folks? Didn't get as much model railroading done as I would have liked, but I got the room cleaned up and saved a lot of the stuff. Didn't throw away as much as I should have, but between the stuff I saved and the grass from the old layout, perhaps we should call this video Waste Not, Want Not. Link, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, click the bell icon, you know how it goes. I'll see everyone next month where we will actually be, no fooling, doing some model railroad bench work. I promise we're going to be done with this mess and actually getting to the dirty job of building a layout. See you guys then.
Coming home, baby.